of Jesus Creek. My name's Matt. This is my 1999 Mac CL730 that I purchased at the last Ritchie Brothers auction. If you guys haven't seen the video of that auction, it was a pretty good one. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can go ahead and check it out when you're done with this one, of course. The purpose of today's video is going to be to go through the old Mac here and make sure it doesn't need anything before we go ahead and put it on the road. I know that it does need a few things, such as the tire here on the tag. She's a little flat, and I'm sure you can probably hear the hissing of several air leaks. I've also identified a few air lines that look pretty suspect, so we're going to go ahead and change those out, as well as give the engine and axles all a complete service. And then, maybe if we have some time, give the truck a little bath, because it sure could use it. It's got quite a bit of nastiness built up on the paint here. Ultimately, I think it would be good to buff this paint out, but I don't think we're going to do that today. And then if all goes well, knock on wood, I'm hoping we can maybe get this thing hitched up to a trailer and haul something. That'd be exciting. So the first thing I want to do is get the oil changed in the engine. I've already got it all warmed up, so it's ready to drain. According to the numbers I've seen written on filters, and I think there might have been someplace written in the cab that showed the last date of service and miles, we're still well within spec, but anytime I buy something, I tend to just service it completely. That way I know for certain that it's been done and somebody didn't just write that on there for the auction's sake or something like that. I don't think they had. I mean, it looks like this truck was pretty well maintained, but no risk gambling with a little bit of oil. I don't know how I managed to make that messy. There's fuel everywhere. Pig Matt here. I've never actually seen one of these things. Sam says it's a centrifuge filter, so there might be something in here that we can replace or clean or something. Got to disconnect this drain tube off the bottom of it, and then I think it spins off like an oil filter, but I'm not sure yet. Why do I feel like I'm gonna break this dang thing? This sucker is tight. Yep, there we go. There's a replaceable element in here. don't see any actual bleeder on top of this fuel filter housing, but this middle fitting here is missing all the paint off of it, and the other two still have paint. So it seems like this one's been loosened a whole bunch of times. Maybe they're using that as their bleeder. I don't think there's any sort of lift pump that's electric. I think that the only way we're going to get any fuel pumped up to the filters is by way of cranking the engine over. But I'm going to turn the key on. You guys holler if you see fuel. As I figured, probably got to fire it up. Contact. That didn't take very long. Let's see if it'll stay running now. Yeah, it's afraid of that. Must be an electric pump because we're getting a lot of air out of it and the key's on. I can't hear one running though. Weird. What a strange system to try to bleed. I don't understand why there's no bleeder. Oh, there's our trapped air. Maybe now it'll fire. There we go. Well, the last filter I have to change on the Mac here is this coolant filter. These coolant filters actually have additive packs in them. If you don't know, big truck engines need coolant additives in them to help prevent cavitation and pitting of the liners in the engine. So these new filters will have fresh additives in there, and the antifreeze can last longer with fresh additives. Does anybody remember what they were doing on 12/10 of 21? Maybe doing some Christmas shopping? Well, somebody was putting a filter on this truck at that time. Oh, my goodness. There we go. That sucker was on there. She is tight, tight, tight. Now when I loosen this up all the way, it's gonna start dumping coolant. So we gotta just change this thing quick. See, they just have green coolant in this engine. I like to run the purple stuff in these big trucks, but it'll all do. All right, here we go. Fast filter change. You ready? Ah, got slippery on me. not bad. Didn't lose too much at all. Didn't make a big mess on the ground either. I have a catch pan, but that really only accounts for so much. The coolant still looks good though. It's nice and clear, nice and bright green, so I think we have plenty of life left in that coolant, especially now with a new filter installed. I got some new decals getting made for the doors here, so got to scrub off what's left of the old ones. Whoever scraped off these decals got a little bit frisky with a razor blade. They got down through the paint here. That's a bummer. It's going to be impossible to probably show you on camera, but getting every last little bit of residue off those doors actually really sucked. When you think you would have it all, you could look really close and you would see there was like a base layer of adhesive that was still clinging on there, and you really have to work to get it off. I got this side done, and I got the passenger side done. This is not bits of decal. This is unfortunately where whoever removed the decal before me got a little aggressive with the razor blade and took the paint. It's still got a layer of primer in there, so it's not going to rust. Maybe I'll try to hit it with some touch-up paint before I put a new decal on there, but ultimately I'm not going to worry too much about it. This truck has been resprayed at least once or twice in its life. You can see it used to be a gray color in here. This is the original paint. It's like a grayish silver. I actually kind of like the white. It does pretty good for not showing the dirt. As you guys can tell, the decal stripe up here is in very rough shape. I'm going to replace that eventually, but for right now I'm not super concerned about it. I just need to get the truck ready for inspection, as it has an appointment here in a couple days. I also noticed that the fiberglass hood here has some pretty good damage to it. I think it's repairable, but that's going to probably be a fairly good sized project. I don't want to try to start undertaking that and not be able to make our inspection appointment. The hinge mount is ripped out right there, and then up at the top there where that security cable runs up and grabs a hold of the upper hood rest, I guess you'd call that, that area is crunched in and broken too. Kind of seems like it probably cracked from getting set down too hard on these. It's got these plastic pads up here where the hood rests, and if you slam the hood down, I could see it cracking that. And then when you open the hood too hard, it also puts a lot of strain on that cable and could just kind of open and closing the hood 100 times. You're basically just flexing that back and forth, and that fiberglass isn't very thick up there, so it's cracked and broken. We'll probably have to take the hood off to fix all that. In addition to the fiberglass, as you can probably tell, the steel that's supposed to hold the fiberglass is also very rusted, rotted, and fallen off of there. There's actually just chunks of the old metal here. Good stuff. That, of course, is like an area where the tire would throw all the salty, slushy nastiness in the wintertime, so that's not very surprising that it's all rotted out there. The fender mount that holds up this plastic piece behind the front tire is also kind of rough looking, but it's still solid for now. With the oil changed and all the filters changed, I did come up here and have a gander at the air filter. As you can see, it's still nice and clean, very white. I don't think there's very many miles on that element at all, so I'm not going to bother replacing that. Those are probably like a $150 air filter, and if it's not bad, I'm not changing it. The wiper blades are in just stellar shape. We're going to have to get some new blades for that. And I think I'm going to check all the lights now, make sure we don't have any lights out that we need to worry about. And this little corner marker needs to be mounted on the other side. As far as the hood is concerned, these pockets here engage some kind of like stakes on the edge of the hood there. Those things, they swing down, go into these pockets to keep the hood aligned. And I think there's supposed to be some rubber cushioning on those, which is missing on both sides there. So I'll have to look up part numbers for those and probably replace those whenever we do the rest of the hood repairs. Tough to get the hood to sit down right with these hinges like this. Next thing I want to do on this rig is go over it for air leaks. There are quite a few, nothing horrible, but just a bunch of small ones that we need to take care of. There are 2 tanks that size, however many gallons that is, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 gallon. One on each side there. And then there are also 2 tanks back here that are about the same size, maybe a little smaller. So between air tanks and then all the air bags that need to inflate on this thing, there's 2 bags that hold up the tag axle while you're driving. There's one that holds up the cab. Air goes into the seat. I mean, air runs a lot of stuff on this truck, so it takes quite a while actually to build up the air pressure in this truck. Rather than fire up the truck to try to charge the system up and listen for leaks and smoking me out of the shop here, I've got my compressor outside plugged into the system here, and we are charging up the air system. So after it's up to pressure, we'll go ahead and have a listen and go over everything. I already started identifying some issues back here the last time I had the truck running. These airbag lines right here, the fittings are so rusted. I don't think they're leaking, but they're on their last leg. I don't want a chance going out on the road with those things. So there's one of those on each side here, and then it looks like a crossover line goes from up here over there somewhere. I noticed that it is also, the fittings are extremely rusted and falling apart on it. But not only that, there's a spot back here where that line is crushed, and I'm surprised it's even holding air anymore. So we need to replace that guy for sure. And then we'll go over as much as we can see, try to identify any other lines that look like they could use replaced. Another thing we can do with air in the system is I'll be able to lift the tag axle up and zap that wheel off there without needing a jack or anything. Once we take the wheel off, we can fix it, because it's obviously not holding any air. While I was walking around the truck just now, I also noticed that this oil hub is broken and doesn't hold any oil anymore. Yeah, you can see that's no bueno. So we'll have to change that hub cover out, get a replacement for that so we can get some oil in there on that hub. Well, I got that tag wheel knocked off so we can take it down to the tire shop and get it fixed up. Well, I got the system all pressurized, and I've been poking my head in everywhere looking for leaks, and the only 2 big leaks that I can hear are coming from these air tanks. That is bad news, unfortunately, because the air tanks are rusted out. You can't fix those, you just have to replace them, which is a real bummer. Doesn't look too terrible to get to though. You just have to pop the 2 bolts that hold this grate off of here, and then just a few fittings, a few bolts. I think the tanks will just drop out of there. Bummer. Yeah, there's your problem right there. Junk. All right, back from a parts run. Ran all over Hell's Half Acre. gathering up stuff. I got a new hub cap, and I got some air lines. I also got one air tank. I connected the air hoses, just got it bolted up yet. Unfortunately, they only had one in stock. They have the other one ordered. Hopefully it's here today. We'll get that one swapped out as well if it comes in. I've said it before, but having a bolt cabinet in the shop has been the single best thing to change my life about working in the shop. The amount of time saved is unimaginable. Hold on. In the asset statement thing? Well, I got a repaired tire back from the tire shop, but it's not the same tire. They said the bead on that original was too bad to fix, so they got us a brand used tire put on this rim, and we gotta throw it back on here. Well, with the hubcap installed, I got the oil topped off in it, so that hub is completely done. Over here on the other side of the truck, I'm currently draining the other two on this side. So there's 4 of these oil-filled hubs on this truck. You got 2 on the tag and 2 on the steer. and we'll go ahead and get those changed out. This one on the steer, as you can see, it's pretty dark. Probably hasn't been changed in a while, so good to get that changed out and topped up with some fresh oil. Alrighty, just got back from the truck shop with our second air tank. Luckily it came in today, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that installed. The only other thing after that I think we have left to do is I want to drain and put new oil in the transmission and both differentials. So let's get started. All right, air tank's in, catwalk's all bolted back up. Let's get to the transmission oil. There's the plug. Got a little bit of metal paste on it, but it's all super fine. I'd call that pretty normal. The oil doesn't look too bad. Still pretty clear looking. Anyway, we'll let that drain out and then we'll pump some new stuff into it. Okay, we're going to refill the transmission now with some 75/90 weight. Well, I filled it up till it ran out of the bung there. There was no place to stick the camera. And when the oil starts to run out, you gotta hurry up. So you guys didn't get to see it, but rest assured, it's full. Yeah, a little bit of water coming out. Good thing that we're doing this. It doesn't look bad. Doesn't smell too burnt. That's a little less awe-inspiring back here. We're gonna have to take a look at this little bit of carnage here on this plug. That might not be good. Well, that's still draining down there. Here's the stuff that I cleaned off of the drain plug there. I know the camera probably isn't gonna want to zoom into it real well, but it's all really small, thin metal. And I don't know where that something like that would have come from. It's not like it's chunks of gear teeth or anything like that. The only thing I can figure is maybe like a shim or something let loose and it's ate the shim up. But really, that's not that much metal. It's hardly anything. I don't know what to make of that. I don't think it's bad enough to say, oh, we got to tear the rear end out. I think we're going to run it for now and just keep an eye on it. Man, you wouldn't think just servicing something like this would really take it out of you, but all the climbing, the up and the down, and we've gone through about 25 gallons of oil between engine, transmission, and 2 differentials. That's not counting the little bit in the hubs and stuff. But she is completely serviced, ready to go. All we got to do is check the lights, and it should be ready for inspection. I wanted to charge up the AC, but I have to take it to get inspected right now. So in a couple minutes, you guys will see if this thing made it through the inspection or if we have to fix some stuff. As you guys can probably see, there's a missing marker light. There's one on that side, but not one on this side. It's in the cab, but it's broken, so I'm not gonna put it on there because if it's on there, it has to work. So let's fire this thing up, make sure all the lights work, and if it does, we are ready to hit the road and take it down for inspection. Oh, still have to mount a license plate, actually. I wish Ritchie Brothers would figure out how to make some better stickers that are easier to get off. I usually never pull them off because they're such a pain. But on something like this, I'd like to have it off of there. Ah, so close. There we go. All right, let's fire the Bulldog up. Well, it sure looks like all the lights are working. I think we're good to go. Slap the license plate on this bad boy and we can hit the road. I'm excited, guys. It's the next day, and the dirty old Mac passed inspection. The guy that inspects my vehicles actually said, "That thing's pretty nice for you." I said, "Yeah, I know." So, she is officially road legal. There's still a few things I need to do before I'm going to take it on any adventures, but as far as the safety department is concerned, the state of Pennsylvania says she is ready to rock and roll. Since we got our air tanks replaced, it is just super nice and quiet back here. I can hear a couple very, very faint air leaks, but man, you'd have to hunt high and low to try and hunt those things down. Before we changed the tanks, the tag axle would fall within a few minutes of shutting the truck off, and that was draining the bulk of the system. Now that the tanks are changed and it's not bleeding air like crazy, when I actually went to pick this truck up, it had been out of the shop down there for a while, and it was still sitting there with the tag axle off the ground, much as it is right now. So, nice to see. Anyways, guys, this all took a lot longer than I thought it was gonna. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you guys like this video, do me a big favor. Smash that thumbs up button down below the video. It really helps out the channel. It doesn't cost you guys but a second of your time. Also, if you would, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the old Bulldog here. Do you think that I'm going to end up using this thing more than the auto car once the auto car is completed? Or do you think I'm going to fall deeply in love with the auto car and just always run it? I'm undecided myself. This is a nice truck. There's a lot of room in there. It's got some creature comforts that the auto car's never going to have. So it's the end of the video for you guys, but myself right now, I'm actually going to hop back in this thing, go hitch it to the lowboy, and get the lowboy pulled into the shop. And then we're going to start working on the lowboy because we have to get it ready for the road as well. So we should be ready to haul something by the end of the next video. So be sure you guys stay tuned for that. And until the next time, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.